The day had finally come. After a month of searching and packing, I had found the house of my dreams. It wasn't huge by any standard, but it was big enough. It was older, wooden, bright red shutters. It was white on the outside with a sloped black roof. It had a comfortable living room in front, a small kitchen-dining room combination, and a long hallway leading past the bathroom and ending in 2 large bedrooms. It had no basement, but it did have a small attic. It had one of those ladders that folded out from a hatch in the ceiling in the master bedroom. The best part of all was the location. A nice rural area with a great view of the hillside. It wasn't too far out in the boonies, but it was far enough to be relaxing, you know? Sometimes it's nice to get away from it all. Anyway, I had gotten in early out of excitement, and I was nearly halfway done with the packing when I decided to take a break. I don't own that much stuff because I moved around a lot for my job. I was hoping to be settled for a little while so I could enjoy some normalcy for a bit. I threw my old beanbag chair onto the carpeted floor of the guest bedroom. I had been dumping the boxes in there until I could get rid of them. I'll save you some of the boring stuff here and just fast forward until much later that night. I had been trying to get a bit of shut-eye and had finally managed to fall asleep. I had the curtains pulled shut to keep out any stray beams of light. It was around 2 o'clock when I woke up to a strange feeling. I remember glancing at my watch and grunting with annoyance at my disrupted slumber. Rising to my feet, I slowly cracked the door. It was just enough to be able to see the end of the hallway before it turned into the living room. A light shone against the wall. I frowned. I had shut all the curtains and had no lights on. I crouched down slightly, my heart beating fast. I strained my ears for any out-of-place sound. Nothing. I crept quietly down the hall and pulled the curtains in the living room window shut. Methodically, I searched every room in the rest of the house before assuring myself that no one was there. Taking a deep breath, I settled myself down and tried to sleep. It took maybe 40 minutes before I could calm down enough to doze off. The next morning, I awoke early and threw open all the curtains in the house. Gentle starlight drifted in through the windows. I resumed unpacking, and the rest of the day was fairly uninteresting. That night, after closing the windows, I curled onto my mattress and closed my eyes. That's when I heard the front door swing open. I nearly jumped onto my feet, heart threatening to burst out of my chest. I inched forward and put my ear to the door. Loud footsteps echoed through the house. Whoever this was, they weren't even trying to be subtle. Then I heard it. Another set of footsteps. There were at least 2 of someone in the house. Eyes wide, I fumbled for my phone. I tapped the keys and dialed. Someone's in the house. I whispered into my cell before ending the call. The footsteps were slowly ambling closer, and now voices entered the mix.
A lovely old house. Good neighborhood.
Confusion added to my fear as I stood glued to the door, still clutching my phone in a shaking hand. Minutes passed as whatever was moving through the house inched closer, throwing open cabinets and opening doors.
Sorry.
A third, new voice called out.
I should have been giving you a tour, but I was running late.
The other voices responded, and soon the 3 were conversing among each other. The next several minutes dragged on as the group moved through the house, shepherded by this new voice. Without warning, the doorknob jiggled and began to turn. It took everything in me not to cry out in terror. Mid-turn, it stopped as the 3rd voice interrupted.
That room hasn't been painted yet. There's something else you should see that I think you will just love.
The other 2 were obviously skeptical, but must have trusted it as the footsteps led off towards the master bedroom. I heard that door swing open and close behind them. Tears were trailing down my face now as I waited to have them return. They did not. More time passed, but I was too afraid to open the door. What was out there? Who was in my house? A soft, shuffling sound brought me back out of my racing thoughts, and I saw it. A single sheet of paper sliding under the door. I stared, horrified. They knew I was in here. I stared down at the paper for what felt like a long time, wiping pink tears from dark red eyes. I reached down and picked it up. It seemed old and faded, almost like parchment paper. Lifting it to my face, I scanned the first line. My hand flew to my mouth just in time to muffle my startled scream. There, in large curling font, was my name. It was addressed to me. Written above it was a time. I couldn't be completely sure, but it looked to be the time I made my phone call. Scrawled beneath that were 3 short sentences I will never forget.
The intruders have been dealt with as asked. We regret to inform you, however, that the master bedroom will require a new coat of paint. Additionally, we recommend you weatherproof your attic. It's a bit drafty up here.